Corporal Daniel Reed lay motionless on a damp hillside in the Hürtgen Forest. His eye was pressed against the scope of his Springfield rifle. A German command post was targeted 640 yards distant. Around him, the skepticism of his superiors hung heavy. A silent counterpoint to the insistent wind. This insistent wind whipped through the Hürtgen Forest trees. What Daniel Reed knew, deep in his bones, was that wind was not chaos. In the next 9 days, 34 enemy officers would fall by his hand. The Hürtgen Forest in late 1944 was a landscape of deep shadow and unyielding resistance. For 6 days, the American advance had been stalled, entangled in a dense, unforgiving terrain. Visibility was limited, and German defenses seemed to materialize from every shadow. 3 enemy regimental command posts, hubs of coordination, allowed German officers to orchestrate a stand. It was a frustrating, prolonged stand for the American forces. Traditional sniper techniques involved calculating for the constant variable wind, averaging 12 to 18 miles per hour. However, these conventional methods often led to crucial misses. Adjusting for 18 to 24 inches of wind drift at 600 yards was a gamble. This felt like a compromise, inherently inaccurate to Corporal Reed. His fellow soldiers, even his company commander, dismissed his talk of wind windows as meteorological fancy. The battalion sniper instructor and his own spotter, Private Tommy Chen, believed waiting for these phantom lulls. They felt waiting for such lulls would simply squander precious opportunities. Yet Daniel Reed, a 26-year-old former wind turbine technician from Cody, Wyoming, quietly persisted. He meticulously logged crucial data, building his personal database. His understanding of wind didn't come from military manuals, but from the wide-open spaces. It came from the Bighorn Basin, where his father owned a ranch. Summers maintaining wind turbines for Wyoming Power Company taught him to read the air like a clock. He wasn't just fixing bearings and gearboxes. He was observing thermals. He predicted when to shut down turbines before dangerous gusts and when to maximize output. He learned that wind wasn't a steady, relentless force. It pulsed. Between dominant gusts, brief calm periods lasting from 30 to 90 seconds would emerge. These weren't random. They followed predictable patterns based on sun angle, terrain, and temperature. These were much like the thermal cycles, creating morning, afternoon, and evening lulls. In Wyoming, he could predict these wind windows with astonishing accuracy. When war called Daniel Reed in 1942, he enlisted, becoming a company sniper. By 1944, he found himself in the treacherous Hürtgen Forest. His initial kills, like other skilled marksmen, involved compensating for the turbulent forest winds. But the chaotic variable air here meant his accuracy suffered, with as many misses as hits. Beginning on September 28th, he started keeping detailed logs: wind speed, direction, temperature. He also carefully noted the exact time of day. Every 30 minutes, he documented the conditions, building a personal data set. By October 1st, a clear pattern emerged, the same thermal cycles he knew from Wyoming. These included morning calms between 6:30 and 7 o'clock, and afternoon calms from 3 o'clock to 3:30 p.m. Additionally, evening lulls consistently appeared from 6:30 to 7 p.m. Each of these wind windows proved reliable and brief. On October 2nd, Reed decided to test his unconventional theory. At 6:37 a.m., with the wind averaging 14 miles per hour, he waited. 4 minutes later, at 6:41, the wind softened dramatically to 2 miles per hour. He sighted a German officer 580 yards away, held the crosshair's center mass, and fired. The shot was a perfect hit, confirming his method. The very next morning, October 3rd, he was back in position, targeting a command post. This was a different German regimental command post, 640 yards distant. Intelligence indicated a colonel was stationed there, a high-ranking officer. Reed knew eliminating such officers could significantly disrupt enemy coordination. At 6:38, the wind was a blustery 16 miles per hour, so he waited. The wind dropped to 8 miles per hour at 6:41, then to a gentle 3 miles per hour at 6:43. The calm window opened exactly as predicted, and a German officer stepped outside, engaging another officer in conversation, both standing still. Daniel Reed focused. No windhold needed, just a clean center mass shot. At 6:44, the Springfield cracked, and 640 yards away, the officer fell. This precise shot marked Daniel Reed's 9th confirmed kill. His spotter, Private Chen, watching through binoculars, could only marvel at the precision. Daniel Reed patiently explained his calm window theory, showing Private Chen his logs. Slowly, Private Chen began to believe in Reed's methods. Over the next 9 days, the forest echoed with deliberate, precise cracks of Reed's rifle. He stalked German officers using his unique understanding of the wind's rhythm. On October 4th, a German captain fell at 610 yards during a morning calm. Later that afternoon, a German major coordinating artillery became his 11th kill. It was a precise headshot at 590 yards. The pattern continued. A lieutenant at a forward observation post on October 5th. Another German officer fell the very next day. Reed only fired during these predictable wind windows. His accuracy was unwavering, and every shot found its mark. By October 6th, a chilling pattern emerged for the Germans. Their officers were dying, not randomly, but at specific times, morning, afternoon, and evening, always from a single fatal sniper shot. German intelligence scrambled to locate this elusive sniper, but Reed was always moving. He was never in the same place twice. They knew the general trajectory of the shots, but he would vanish before they could respond. On October 7th, the German forces adapted their strategy. They restricted officer movement during these now suspect time frames, 6:30 to 7 a.m., also from 3 to 3:30 p.m. and 6:30 to 7 p.m. Officers were explicitly ordered to stay inside their command posts. Daniel Reed in turn adapted, extending his observation periods. Officers he knew could not remain indoors indefinitely. When a German captain emerged at 7:15 a.m. on October 7th, after the supposed safe window had closed, Daniel Reed was patiently waiting for his shot. The wind had picked up to 12 miles per hour, so he made a compensation. He held 16 inches left, then fired his rifle. The German captain dropped, marking Daniel Reed's 16th kill. Yet Daniel Reed knew these compensated shots were inherently less precise. The calm wind windows offered maximum effectiveness for his mission. On October 8th, Daniel Reed shifted his position, moving 2 miles north. He sought new vantage points over different German command posts. Meanwhile, the Germans were still focused on his previous area. At 6:41 a.m., a new morning calm window opened. He targeted a regimental headquarters 620 yards away, and when a German colonel stepped out, Reed fired a center mass shot, a perfect hit. This kill, his 19th, was of particularly high value. It thus disrupted an entire regiment's critical operations. By October 10th, Daniel Reed had accumulated 27 confirmed kills. Whispers spread through the American lines about the sniper who never missed during his chosen moments. The impact on the German forces was becoming profound. Officer casualties created severe disruption within their command structure. Coordination faltered, decisions were delayed, and operational effectiveness declined. On October 11th, German commanders made a dramatic decision, deeming the sniper threat too destabilizing. They pulled their forward command post back, retreating 8 miles behind the front lines. They simply could not function with their officers systematically eliminated day after day. American intelligence noted this sudden, unexplained pullback. Division headquarters, perplexed by a retreat without direct pressure, was informed of Reed's sniper campaign. 31 officers were eliminated in 9 days, all during predictable wind windows. The correlation was undeniable, one man using a unique understanding of his environment. he had forced a major strategic withdrawal. On October 12th, Reed took his final shots of the campaign. The Germans had retreated to positions over 800 yards away, beyond the consistent effective range. This was even beyond his Springfield's range in a calm window. But Reed sought a symbolic completion. 34 kills, meaning 26 officers in these 9 remarkable days. At 6:42 a.m. during the morning calm, he spotted a German major at 820 yards. The range was extreme, but the wind was perfectly still. He aimed, accounted for bullet drop, and then fired. The German major fell, marking kill number 34. Daniel Reed had completed his mission. The psychological effect of Reed's 9-day campaign was immense. German command in the Hürtgen Forest was deeply damaged. Officers were reluctant to operate from forward positions, communication fractured. The American advance, once stalled, slowly resumed. In November 1944, Reed's method was documented by Division Intelligence. The report detailed his wind-reading technique, understanding of thermal cycles and calm windows. By February 1945, Army sniper schools incorporated wind pattern recognition into their curriculum. This critical knowledge was directly based on Reed's insights. Snipers learned to identify these cycles, predict calm windows, and maximize accuracy. They learned to maximize accuracy through environmental understanding. Reed finished his tour in December 1944, receiving a Silver Star for exceptional marksmanship. The citation made no mention of wind turbines, however. In January 1945, he returned to Wyoming, resuming his quiet life maintaining turbines. The wind patterns were the same, but now he understood how that knowledge translated into combat effectiveness. It saved lives by disrupting the enemy, though seemingly disconnected from warfare. Decades later, in 1978, a military historian researched Hürtgen Forest sniper operations. He unearthed references to Daniel Reed's extraordinary sniper campaign. 34 officers in 9 days, with perfect accuracy during specific predictable windows. The historian then tracked Daniel Reed down, now 60 years old. At 60, Daniel Reed was still maintaining wind turbines. He explained the thermal cycles, the morning updrafts, the afternoon peaks, the evening calms. He explained that wind turbine operators knew these patterns for decades. I just applied this knowledge to sniping, he added. The principles were the same, only the application was different. He confessed that during those 9 harrowing days, his thoughts often drifted to turbine maintenance schedules. How he'd schedule bearing replacements during calm windows for safety and efficiency. In the Hürtgen Forest, he scheduled his shots with the same logic, the same efficiency. Daniel Reed passed away in 2002 at 84 years old. His obituary noted his wind turbine career and military service, but it did not mention the 34 officers or his calm wind windows. Yet in modern military sniper training, his methods endure. The principle remains. Environmental conditions follow predictable patterns. Understanding these patterns rather than compensating for chaos vastly improves accuracy. Wind, he proved, is not random. It is systematic, cyclic, and predictable. And sometimes the most profound military advantage comes not from a new weapon, but from quiet, specialized knowledge. Knowledge of an ordinary technician who learned to read the wind, not for machinery but for war.